Hey everybody, welcome back to OneRoomOver Gaming. Today I'm back here in this game, A Light in the Dark, and I'm just getting ready to start day 2, Silence Girl. And I think this time I'm playing as the girl. So, here we go. Oh no! Okay, so cold. I forgot I was supposed to move my camera down into the corner before uploading this again so that I could read, but I think it just says morning, like second morning. Anyway, it's cold. I didn't feel better after I slept. Instead, I felt even more tired. Oh, maybe I'm still... Nope, I'm still me. I was hoping to find a chance to escape when she fell asleep, however time passed, and she didn't show any sign of closing her eyes. I couldn't help but fall asleep first. The last thing I saw was her lighting another cigarette. That's because when you're not looking, she does coke. My body must have been really exhausted if I could fall asleep like that. Hey! I opened my eyes in a daze and saw an unfamiliar face right before me. Who is this? Oh, so many strangers in my life. You look nicer, in a way. She'll probably stab me. Nope, okay. Back. Oh, nope, she's real. I jumped back reflexively and tried to shield my chest with my hands. Why am I shielding my chest? What am I worried about? Am I half naked? Who cares? Yet my tied-up hands reminded me of my kidnapped status. Regardless, I was shocked by this new face. That should be a Facebook choice. Show your status as kidnapped. Be dumb. It wouldn't make any sense, but I don't care. I stared at the new girl before me. The first thing I noticed were her beautiful eyes, clean, light brown, like pieces of amber. Okay. Her thick coat and dark red sweater looked pretty old. Her small body suggested she might have been in junior high, so she was clearly unfit for a place like this. Now that's a little, presumptuous, isn't it? Just because she's a little small, she must be in junior high. She might just be a short woman. I didn't know who she was, but I easily noticed the knife in her hand. I was going to say, that's readily apparent. Oh, good. The knife is the theme. It's the thread that links us all together. It won't go away. She stared straight at me, but showed no signs of speaking, which somehow emitted an inexplicable pressure. Who are you? Nope, she's just gonna wiggle. Who are you? That's gonna be the new way I say nothing. Someone asked me a question. If you could see my arms, they're just... I'm ridiculous today. I tried to ask her, but she refused to answer and shook her head. She was on guard of every movement with pressed lips. I'm kind of thinking that she's like a fill-in for my regular captor, and she's supposed to stab me if anything goes weird, but she doesn't probably want to. But she probably would. There was no sign of the kidnapper around. There were only 2 of us in this room. In other words, a good chance to escape. I'm not gonna struggle. Doesn't seem like the right time. Can you untie the rope for me? I should have saved right there so that I could... Well, I can always go back to night 2. Can you tie this rope for me? I'm certain she won't. Where did the knife go? Head shaking. See, it's not head shaking if you go like this. This isn't head shaking. This is like a dance move. She had no intention of trying to help. I tried to untie it myself. Her expression vividly changed upon noticing my attempt. Knife. Where's that knife? There's that knife. Don't move. She's serious. That serious face. Look at the seriousness in that face. Don't move. As expected. Knife. Only another victim or the accomplice would be here. If she wasn't tied up and instead held a knife, then she must be my guard. Maybe the next guard they give me will be this tall, and she'll have a sniper rifle. The quiet girl and the antisocial one. What a bizarre combo! This sort of plot in a movie would have easily triggered the haters. It appeared reality reality could be more ridiculous than fiction. It often is, to be honest. I breathed out and couldn't help but laugh out of stress. I don't check my notes, so I don't know what they say. I had no idea why they would pick her as a partner. I could defeat someone of her size even if she held the knife. That's not assuming she was alone. A knife is a pretty good equalizer. Is there anyone else here? I'm certain she's not going to talk to me. There would be no progress if I didn't strike up a conversation. I decided to speak proactively after giving it some thought. She stared at me tightly with no response, making one wonder if she understood. You were asked to guard me, right? Still no response. Can you untie the rope for me? I can't feel them now, and if it stays like this, I'm assuming them being my hands, can't feel my hands, I'm gonna lose them. She shook her head, finally speaking after being silent for a while. Big Sis told me not to listen to you. Yeah, I kind of assumed she was a sister, but you never know. Her voice was light and quiet, like smoke in the air. It was a cigarette thread. Knives and cigarettes. If I ever start a band, that's going to be my first album. And it's going to have nothing to do with knives or cigarettes. I finally heard her speak, yet it was frustrating to hear something so pointless. Oh yeah, that'll get me punched. So obedient. What an obedient kid. Do you even know what you're doing? Hearing my mockery, she only frowned and said nothing. Actually, she's going to tell her sister, and her sister's going to kick my ass. Different from the kidnapper yesterday, she had no intention to hurt me nor talk to me. Or rather, she was avoiding any contact with me. Yes, she probably doesn't want to be holding on to me. Do you have anything to eat? Don't tell me your sister doesn't allow that either. I had no strength with an empty stomach. I hadn't eaten anything since yesterday, and my stamina went out faster in this cold weather. I mean, I'll probably eat this child, if I get loose. I had to save my energy for my chance. This was a war of attrition. Either she'd let me go, or I'd give up first. This is not a war of attrition. This is me, hoping to escape after having been kicked quite a few times. There is no attrition. I am not getting anything. It's not back and forth. It's one-sided. Just like that, she vanished. Answering with her action, she put a bowl on the ground, grabbed the water bottle with difficulty, and carefully poured some into it. Okay, here. Oh, she's gonna torture me like her sister did. She handed me the bowl and then brought me a pack of crackers. Wow. Worrying I might escape, she never moved her gaze away from me. The hand grasping the knife never loosened up. Smart kid. Observing her actions quietly, I hoped to read her thoughts, but couldn't discern anything except stress. I drank the water with much effort, spilling quite a bit on my clothes due to my tied-up hands. My clothes were wet again after finally getting dried. But at least I don't have to go to the bathroom. The hard crackers tasted like pure flour alone, hard to swallow, even with water. Oh, so they're not nice Ritz crackers, they're just basically water and flour that got baked. I knew it was not the time to be picky. I had to cherish any opportunity to replenish my strength. Noticing her conflicting gaze, I asked, "Do you have a boyfriend?" No. What's wrong? Big Sis is not a bad person. She will let you go when she gets the money. I hope that's true. So please don't move. Don't cause problems. I will cooperate. I might be a sassy little bastard, but I'll cooperate. Okay, yep. At least for now. I hope I said that out loud. I didn't finish the full sentence, but she already looked happy and clearly dropped her guard a little. Organizing the information I could gather, I started to plan my next steps. Would the teacher notice something was wrong if I hadn't gone to the cram school for 2 days? Not really, because you're a rich student and it's probably... Pardon me, I'm going to have a sip of my beverage. I'm sure kids don't show up to school and it's nothing they get upset about. Unlikely, considering how often I skipped it. See? Unless it lasted long enough, but even in the worst case scenario, they would only contact the parents instead of the police. I started to regret not having more friends who would notice me going missing. Expecting her to let me go upon the ransom, would it really be that easy? Probably not. Remembering that vague smile, I didn't feel very assured. The girl was squatting next to the wall and stared at me while hugging her legs. There was no curiosity in her eyes, as though nothing interested her here. She was just guarding this place at someone else's behest. Big sis, huh? Considering their relationship, it was unlikely she planned the kidnapping. She was most likely just an accomplice, following orders. Unlike some stereotypical bad girls who smoked or dyed their hair, she looked like a well-behaved but shy kid, at least, if I hadn't met her in this situation. Oh, those bad girls dyeing their hair! Oh ho ho! Smoking their cigarettes with their friggin' pink-ass hair. That's a bad girl right there. That is like, if that is bad behavior, according to this game, then boy, have I got some news for you about how the world works, my friend. So who was planning all this? Somehow I felt things weren't as simple as they seemed. There were too many points of suspicion if they were the ones planning this. Even carrying me here should have been problematic for them. Also, the person she was contacting concerned me as well. No, because she didn't carry me. She probably used a rickshaw. Hey! Hi! I called out to catch her attention and tried to start a conversation. Looks like you tried to start her heart. She's clearly surprised. She was younger than the kidnapper yesterday and with much less animosity. There might have been a chance to convince her. Can I save? I'm going to check and see if I can save before I start making poor choices. How did you get my information? She's not going to tell me. You're a student, right? Do you know what you're doing? She stared at me with no change of expression. I wasn't sure if she heard me. I'm sure she heard me. This might be even more troublesome than the other one. I could at least guess my kidnapper's thoughts if there was some sort of conversation. I was only wasting my time here at this rate. Oh, because I have so much other important stuff to do. I could think about how many ties I own. I don't know what she told you, but this is kidnapping. I'm quite certain that if the older sister's poor, the younger sister's poor, she probably understands that this is a good way to get money. So she's probably not too cracked up about it, especially since I'm still alive and obviously not in distress. I mean, I might be uncomfortable, but I'm not dying. I'm expecting sympathy from a young child. I tried to sound more threatening to make her talk. There would be punishment even if you are underage, and that would involve your family too. You know that? You know that your sister could get into trouble? What do you think of that, you tiny little toddler? They're just using you. They may blame this all on you later. Big Sis would not do that. She abruptly interrupted me. How can you be so sure? Just because she was kind to you, do you think she would still be on your side? What? Do you think she would still be on your side then? I don't... It was just wasting my time trying to scare a child. Finally making her talk, I tried to push forward. Has she told you her plan after getting the money? Do you really know her? Is she really your sister? Big Sis would not do such a thing. You're the one who doesn't know her. You got me. She interrupted me loudly and stood up all of a sudden with her little body shaking. I pissed her off. I didn't expect such a big reaction from such a tiny person. Perhaps her relationship with her big sis was closer than I thought. Emphasis on big sis. Apparently I don't believe this is a real relationship. Of course, I don't know your big sis. I stopped for a few seconds and stared at her coldly. There's some music happening in my ears. It sounds a little edgy. All I know is that she's a kidnapper. That's all that matters. Liar! You don't know why, big sis! She raised the knife and yelled at me with her chest heaving up and down, but swallowed the word before the key part. You were gonna say something. Why then? Big sis is just... Does your sister have a name? Or are you just incapable of saying such? Facing my question, she lowered her gaze. Worrying she might get too agitated and really harm me, I decided to change the subject despite my desire to continue, and my other desire to not get stabbed. Anyway, I don't get it, but you'd better give it some thought. I coldly ended the conversation, leaving her staring at me hesitantly. Yeah, that's probably just going to come back and blow up in my face later. No matter how much faith one had in others, no one would stay still after hearing those words. I wasn't sure how effective that was. I could only wait and see. It's not like that. Not able to retort, she squatted next to the wall in depression, mumbling with her head in her arms. Seeing her almost about to cry made me feel a little uncomfortable, but I would do anything as long as I could get out of here. I could do anything and just not be a prick and threaten children. Besides, they were the ones at fault here. There should be no sense of guilt involved, even if I hurt them a little. You calm down. Me calm down. Let's calm down. Let's turn it down from 11 to 2. Let's try and strike up a conversation with her. Wasn't that what I was just doing? Trying to get some answers out of her? Let's chat it up. Young girl. No, I'm going to talk to my sock puppet. Who are you? Why me so cold? How long have you known Big Sis? That's like the obvious one. How long have you known Big Sis? Let's see. It says 5:45 on the clock, so like 4 hours maybe? She stared at me, cautiously, as though not feeling too happy about me saying bad things about her Big Sis. You really like your sister, huh? I could have said sigh, but why say it when you could... We could do it. I sighed heavily. The depression in my chest didn't lessen one bit. Yeah. She nodded without a second thought. She was only this certain what involved her Big Sis. Whatever. I'm just going to be flippant. I wasn't sure if she was just innocent or easy to fool. Even though she was being manipulated, she still got mad for her. Someone really needed to knock some sense into this little girl. Why do I, my character's such a dickhole? I know it's me and I'm kidnapped, but why am I threatening the young one? It's like I know I can't threaten the older one because she'll actually kick me. So I'm like saying knock some sense into the little one. It's so stupid. But it was pointless to tell her that now. One was the Big Sis that took care of her, and the other was a random stranger that she knew for less than a day. It was clear who she'd pick. No, really. Goofy. Oh. Let's try and do this. Let's chat some more. It's going well, young girl. Oh, I'm not timed right now. I can actually stop and think about what I want to say. So... Who? I don't care to say so cold. Honestly, it's between who are you and why me. I'm guessing why me is because my parents have money. But there's lots of kids with parents who have money. Let's see. Let's try who are you. Let's see if that opens her up. Who are you? She silently looked at me, showing no desire to talk. Are you a student? I don't go to school. She shook her head, still not really interested in talking to me. Shook her head. Just like that. I looked at her. She must be underage with such thin arms and a slender body. She's going to grow up to be Slender Man. That's the twist. Do your parents know about this? Do they allow you to do such a thing? Yeah, they probably sanctioned it. She pressed her lips and shook her head. Feeling the mood was too heavy, I decided to talk to her a little later. Okay. Let's try and strike up a conversation with her. Okay, yeah, why not? Let's just waste all my actions trying to strike up a conversation with a girl who barely speaks. Why me? Alright, tell me that. Riddle me that. What do you mean? Oh my goodness, she said words. What do you mean? There are many rich people out there to kidnap. Why me in particular? Wouldn't a little kid be easier to target? Yeah, but little kids are actually, you can't... I don't think the older sister would be as happy about kicking me if I was a child. I still didn't know why they picked me. If I could figure that out, maybe I could guess the culprit's identity. It's my mom! She's had me kidnapped. And she doesn't want to pay for it. This is a setup, is what it is. My own parents, they had me kidnapped, and they're not going to pay for my ransom, and I'm going to die, and that's going to be how I end. And I'm never going to get to college. I don't know. Big sis just asked me to guard you. Like, why are you asking me all these questions? I don't even want to be involved in this. This little girl probably wants to go outside and not be anywhere near me. Inquire further. Why would I mock her? That's dumb. So this was all planned by that big sis of yours, not that big sister that might not even be your big sister. No, it was Mr. Ken. That's what I was looking for. Now we've got a name. Mr. Ken who? Ken Barbie? I don't know Ken's last name. Like Barbie's partner. I don't know if he has a last name. She tried to defend her big sis, but shut up immediately upon realizing she shouldn't say anything more. Let's Google that real quick. This is my channel. I can waste all my own time. So let's see here. Let's Google this. What is the Ken... Son of a bitch. Ken doll's last name? It was in there in Google. Kenneth Sean Ken Carson, 1961 and 1967, and then 1969 through present. So apparently the first Ken doll only made it to being 8 years old. He aged well. He got big fast, and then that was enough. And 2 years later, boom, he showed back up. Anyhow, Carson, and let's get back on track. She tried to defend her big sis, but shut up immediately upon realizing she shouldn't say anything more. I probably read that twice. Mr. Ken. I have no recollection of that name. Did they really pick a target at random? Probably not. Or was there another culprit, and that guy was their only point of contact? That Mr. Ken you just mentioned. Tell me more about him. What's he look like? Where does he work? What's he drive? I don't know. I don't have a phone. I'm not talking to him. I tried to trick her, but failed. Hanging her head, she answered unhappily. Her voice was as cold as her gaze. All right. Oh, I bet it's like noontime now. Alright, nothing's going on. Just enjoying the scenery. Digging on that pretty poster. In prison, life was surprisingly boring. I couldn't do anything with tied hands, and the only person I could talk to was as silent as a rock in one corner of the room. There was no phone, no TV, no internet. The usually insufficient 24 hours now felt way too long. Yet she didn't look one bit bored. Flipping through a book from God knows where, she observed my movements from time to time. I ate the same crackers for breakfast and lunch. I also went to the bathroom once, hoping to find a chance to escape. Oh, that's nice that they still let me go to the bathroom. She stood outside with the knife when I was in there, neither rushing me nor leaving. Having found nothing useful there, I left post-haste. Don't you eat anything more normal, or do you just love crackers? Okay, probably can't really afford to eat anything, like, too spendy. She ate the same thing as me. They were cheap and tasteless, no matter how long you chewed, and they only served to make your mouth dry. Unless you won a year's worth of them from a lottery, there's really no reason to keep eating them. I started the conversation out of boredom. She raised her head thoughtfully. This is very cheap and lasts long. Yeah, because people who can't afford to eat good have to buy cheap shit that may not taste good, but will last them a long time. Because, not a lot of other options. You can't eat air. We're not plants. We're people. Aren't you worried about malnutrition? Yeah, that's probably high on her list of worries. Right above, like, staying clothed and keeping warm. There's nothing but starch, let alone fiber or vitamins. Pretty ironic for something called a nutrition biscuit. Oh, that's a great name. A nutrition biscuit. Oh. I would name a cat nutrition biscuit if I could. Showing no concern about balancing her diet, she didn't even raise her head, but just replied nonchalantly. Hanging out with her this whole morning, she didn't give any sort of proper response, except when it was about her big sis. Pretty incredible, I would say. Strangely enough, it wasn't like she cared about this big sis that much. It was more like she just didn't care about anything else. Did you figure something out with my dad? Please, God, tell me you did, so that this might end someday. No idea. Her answer, without hesitation, didn't appear to be a lie. However, it did trigger my curiosity. If she didn't even care about the status of the ransom. Oh, am I going to try and play it up? No matter who you are, you must care about something, whether it be family, work, or some dream. Yet she had none of that. There wasn't even some sort of animosity against me, only caution at most. Try to talk! Why do you like your, big sis? Hesitating a little, I decided to follow how she addressed the person in question. 'Cause big sis took good care of me. That's a good reason. That's it? What more do you need? She said no more despite the pause, then I realized she had finished. That's really a satisfactory answer. She frowned as she stared at me. You were willing to do all this just because she took good care of you? That's quite the burden. Yeah, I can imagine it is taking care of a small child. Or like a preteen or whatever. You must be easy to please. Probably not. What the hell? If you treated her nicely, she might even kill someone for you. Kidnapping is by no means a light crime in any country. You could easily end up with more than 10 years of jail time. I finally understood why gangs like to recruit students. Around that age, anyone nice to you must be a friend, and one would do anything for a friend. Friend. Unable to retort, a bit of confusion flew through her eyes. Because Big Sis is nice, so I want to help her. Is that strange? No. And again, assuming... I don't know if my character is just, like, completely inept and doesn't really realize how to read people, but if her big sis is obviously not very wealthy, this younger girl is probably not very wealthy. And so being young and hungry and having no hope, and then you have this person older than you who's willing to feed you and keep you safe from a lot of weird shit, because poor people get put in some weird places. Yeah, that's a pretty big loyalty, to be perfectly honest. It's not strange at all. But apparently my character is dumb. He doesn't understand the world. Depends on what you're helping her with. It was a simple question, but with an implication. Maybe no one took care of her except this big sis. Oh, look who's finally coming around. Many things you take for granted aren't the case for us at all. Is this something I'm remembering, or did she suddenly show back up? Well, this seems like a good time to end it. So, this is where it's going to be for right now. I will find out more about this sister relationship, this Mr. Ken. Yeah, didn't get much out of this one, but I did get a name, so maybe there's something to work with there. I can start figuring out why I was the chosen kidnap victim, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it was my parents just trying to get rid of me. That would be highly ironic. But, you know, a good setup, honestly. Anyway, it is what it is. It's a game. I can have fun with it. So, real kidnapping isn't hilarious, though. There's nothing funny about that at all. Thank you guys for coming back to OneRoomOver Gaming. Thank you for watching. Finish up day 2 here in a little bit, and yeah, hopefully we get some more answers. So until then, you guys know where I'll be. I'll be here, OneRoomOver, playing games for you, and I'll see you all very soon. You take care. Okay. Bye.